Welcome, everybody. Enjoy a cocktail with us. You have come to the right place. If you want to know anything about UFOs or people with all kinds of
Or
experience with Yetis and all that kind of stuff, if you want to know where the best pizza place in Maine is, or if you want to know how to slop a hog, you can learn every bit of that right here because we're all experts in some of these things.
and
Welcome, everybody.
obviously, I'm
Cheers.
the expert in slopping hogs. So, well, cheers to what are you drinking there, Lamar? What you got
A
going
little
on?
Four Roses, single barrel. Yeah, a little
Four
bourbon.
Roses, boy, I can see that in the bar my father owned. I
That
hadn't
was
thought of that.
that's been around forever and ever, ever. It has.
Can I talk to Lamar for a minute about bourbon? Because
Mhm.
I heard a great story. A friend of mine, my new friend, you know the new friend I told
A
you
new
about,
friend.
Sherry, that I
Yeah, that
made?
you've been working on having.
Yeah, John.
Yeah.
So he commutes between where I live and New York City. He's still a commodities trader. He trades aluminum. So as I've said, we have a lot in common.
Yes. Oh
And
yes. Yes.
I said, "What's been going on in your life?" And he said, "Well, I went to a wedding in New York, and it was predominantly Italian." And I said, "Oh, I want to hear about that. I wish I could have gone to it." Listen to this. They booked St. Patrick's Cathedral for the
Wow.
wedding.
What?
Wow.
Was it a gangster family, like a mafia family? That's some money right there.
Do you know that there are probably every Saturday 6 weddings at St. Patrick's
For
Cathedral?
real.
That's what I learned. Yeah, you have to
Wow.
sign a contract that you're going to go in and you're going to go out at a certain time because they have other people that would like to get married there. So the bride and the groom got married there, and I said, "Was it nice?" And he said, "That was beautiful. It was St. Patrick's Cathedral." And I said, "Where was the reception?" Plaza Hotel.
Wow.
Plaza Hotel.
Wow.
So I went, wow, I love that place so much. I've had a drink in the bar there. I even stayed there once. And I said, what was the reception like? And he said, well, one of the friends of the bride, I think, was a guy, kind of a tough looking guy.
Yeah.
And I'm behind him, and we're both waiting to get a drink. And I'm talking to him, and he's a local guy. He's from Brooklyn, and blah, blah, blah. And he says to the kid behind the bar, I want a bourbon, straight up on the rocks. And the kid said, "Sir, I'm so sorry. We have run out of bourbon." And the guy said, "How does that happen?" You know? And he said, "I know, sir. I'm so sorry." Guy reaches into his pocket, pulls out 350s, and he says, "Here you go, sonny boy. You go get me a bourbon." And now the kid is under a lot of stress because he just can't leave. That's his station. And the guy's going, "I want the bourbon." And I said, "What happened? What happened?" He said, "The kid, held, and somebody came by and somebody went eventually. But I told my friend I would pay to go to that wedding.
Oh yes.
If they were selling tickets, for
Yes.
sure.
I would
Yes.
pay.
Hey, if I were that kid, I'll take those 350s. I'll be back in 20.
Bye.
Somebody's gonna have to cover my shift. Yeah. I wanna shout somebody out. So Regina Denton, some boxes came to the house and I thought they had microphone cables and equipment for Doc because a lot of stuff gets shipped to me to give to Heather and Doc. And Kevin opened one of the boxes and said, "This isn't microphones. This is something you're going to love."
Oh my God.
Wow.
Is
An
this not
alien.
fabulous?
It's an
This is my new favorite thing. And Regina sent one for me and Heather and Max, and I love it so much. I
That is
can't
so
even tell
awesome.
you. And I'm so sorry that I didn't open the box. Well, Kevin opened the box, but Heather will tell you how much stuff does Tony ship us.
Oh, so much. So
Oh
much.
And
yeah.
and you just I always think, all right, nothing bad can happen to this piece of equipment if it stays in the box it was shipped in. So girl, I apologize, but let me just tell you how much I love this.
I want to say hi to Karen Gilmore. Hello from Vancouver, Washington, one of my favorite places. Frank Seal, he said, "Sober September for me. Have a drink for me." Good for you, Frank. Good for you.
and we'll do it.
Let me handle that. Having a drink for
We
Frank.
got you, Frank. We got you.
Cheers, everybody.
Right.
Hi, Kathy Curtis in Charlotte, Southern Illinois, checking in with Jeannie Hanks. Hi, Teresa Richards and Darren. Darren, I'm going to take a wild shot at your pronunciation. Is it Darren Theriot or Theriot? Did you drop the French pronunciation in Northern Maine? Let me know. Jessica Wallace in Aberdeen, South Dakota. Jeff Kleinschmidt in Marshfield, Wisconsin, where it is 78 degrees. I have a True Weird Stuff episode coming up that takes place in the Black Hills of South Dakota, and it is a mind blower. I'm so excited to get to that. Hi, Kimberly Fluke and Michelle Tall, Kathy Smith, Jill O'Perry. Hey, Ed Erdley, sending love right back to you in Grand Junction, Colorado. Kathy said her cousin went to Area 51 and brought back 2 alien statues. That's love. That's my love language, by the way.
Very nice. Very nice. Lamar, I have to say, I'm loving your studio. Look at the on-air sign. I don't have one of those. That is so cool.
This is a professional situation here. Yeah.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
What? You don't have one?
No, I don't have one of those.
Look at there. Sherry's got one.
I've got one too.
It doesn't, I can't see it. It's all just white screen. I can't.
Let me put it where it maybe can
Okay.
there we go.
Now, where'd y'all get those? Oh, Tony sent you two one of those, and I did not get one.
No. My son got me this. When I came to work full time, he got me
Yeah,
this.
this is really
Oh, he
hard.
did? Oh, that's nice.
Where can I put
That's
it?
nice. Very good. Very good.
It's so
Tony
bright.
Tony and his wife are in Greece, aren't they?
I think
Let me
they're
ask
home
y'all.
now.
Speaking of Tony, y'all were with me in Maine, and do you remember when we got to the airport and we had stuff that we couldn't carry on, and we gave it to Tony, and Tony was going to ship it to us? I got a few little things, little trinkets that I got from some people. Have y'all got anything from Tony?
Tony has not shipped anything because Tony shipped his mysterious Spanish self to
Oh,
Greece.
God, that's right.
Yeah, I didn't get any of that stuff either. It was like
Oh,
little
you
products.
You
Yeah.
won't until Tony comes home and gets back into the groove and takes some Ritalin and looks around the office, and then
Yeah.
he'll ship it.
Yeah. God, I hate people that have short attention spans. They're
Oh my
such
God,
a
don't
pain in
you?
the ass to deal with.
Easily distracted. I hate that.
Right. Hello from Oak Island. I believe that is in South Carolina. And thank you, Bonnie, very much. That's a very beautiful place. I know some people that go there every summer. Speaking of which, I think I found a house for Mary and me for most of the summer, next summer in Maine.
Oh, good for you.
I think we're not sure yet.
I
but
hope
we're
you
looking
have,
for
because
it.
that's going to be so cool.
I've been waiting all my life, and I have the grandchildren now, and I'd really like to do it. There's a summer place, and
No,
so
I'm so happy you have been waiting your whole life.
Yep,
That's
right.
been like, you guys, this has been seriously like one of Bob's daydreams
Forever.
right.
forever. And the fact that, and it's not a crazy daydream. You don't see him wanting to go to outer space and climb out of
No.
a ship,
No.
right? He just wants
And
to
it- and
go
it's not-
somewhere in Maine.
It's how I used to kid on the air, like, if anyone has a carriage house with a partial ocean view, I'm willing to pay as much as $40,000. I would do that, and everybody would laugh and everything. This is a carriage house. It's a carriage
Really?
house. Yeah, that's for rent, and so we'll see. Um,
I'm
I've
thrilled
got to
for you.
make sure that the money is okay and everything, but I'm really excited about that.
I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
Hello, Deborah J. Morgan from Hudson. Hudson, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Beautiful.
Place. Lovely place. Lovely.
We have Socrates and Kinderhook in the house tonight too, in the upstate New York area.
We have to get up there and go to our favorite inn because it was sold, and a couple of guys from New York took it over, and I would like to see what they're doing with it. In what town was that? It was right outside of Hudson.
Purling, New York.
Purling, New York.
Yeah. It's funny that you bring that up because I was talking to Kevin about that. Like, if I had a magic wand, it could be anywhere this weekend. I would like to be at the Bavarian Manor in Purling.
The Bavarian Manor. That's right. It's been there for 100 years, and we have had so many great times in their bar. And they had a waitress who was approximately 178 years old, and she was an incredible waitress for breakfast in the morning. One woman was serving the entire, room. Everything in that place is so cool. They have these antique car shows up there, and it's in the country. I mean, it's in a neighborhood. You got to look it up. You got to go there if you've never been to that part in New York State. It's beautiful.
Every room is different, and you feel
Right.
like you're staying in someone's old country house. They have a great porch. They have a fire pit down on the lawn, a great little bar. And I hope they still do this. The thing used to be in the morning, you'd go into the restaurant, and the 78-year-old server that Bob's talking about would, without even saying a word to you, would set down a plate full of like fresh cantaloupe and still hot from the oven. Like
Coffee.
cake. Yeah. And I think, like, to me, there's never a time that isn't cake appropriate or cake friendly. Like, let's have cake, right? So, and she was precious. And we have never had anything but the best time ever at the
Right.
Bavarian Manor.
Right.
I'd love to go back too.
Somebody just posted, and I'm sorry it went through so quickly. Does Mary really want to spend a summer in Maine, or are you kidnapping her? I think she would love to travel to Dubai and Singapore and places that I just have no interest in. But she is so sweet to me that she is going to go as long as it's a place that she's comfortable with. And what that means is clean.
Yeah. You know what? Every time I get off of a plane and head home, I think about Mary Lacey, because Mary has this firm policy. If you have been on an airplane, you walk into the door, you strip, and you take a shower.
Right.
And you don't do anything until you have stripped and taken a shower. And she's so strict about that. And she enforces it for others as well. Like, she makes Bob do it too. But
I have to get undressed in the driveway in front of all the neighbors. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
She's not wrong. And so I've adopted that. Tell her I've adopted that practice
you
too.
have.
I
Yeah.
want to say hi to Pat Bark in Cedar Rapids, who says, "Sorry, I'm late. I'm working with my church feeding the homeless." God, you're a monster, Pat.
God,
Wow.
what are you doing?
We're here drinking. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, we're terrible.
We know her. We know her. So she's a friend of ours. So I mean,
Yeah. We get credit.
we get something. Osmosis.
Yeah.
We get osmosis.
Hey, it's
Yeah.
the company we keep, right?
Yes,
We do get
that's
some
You
credit.
know a
exactly
good
right.
person.
Let me
Yeah.
shout out Jessica Wallace, who's doing the walk to end Alzheimer's in Aberdeen, South Dakota with
Yes.
her pup. I'm
That's
super
awesome.
psyched for you. Good
That's
job.
awesome.
And Grandma Jackie's in the house tonight from Door County, Wisconsin.
All right.
Woo! Grandma
Yeah.
Jackie. Cheers, everybody.
Joanna Knight Clausen said, "Nice shirt, Bob." Thank you,
Okay.
Joanna. None of my coworkers said anything about it, and it's like one of my favorite things that I've ever bought in my life.
Oh my God. I have never understood what it's like to be a married man more than in a moment like this, when I didn't notice your haircut. I didn't notice your new shirt. I didn't tell you you looked pretty. I
A
didn't
man makes
thank
an
you for
effort.
giving me such a nice life. Like,
A man makes an effort,
yeah,
Like to hear
I
something
hate
about it.
myself. I'm so sorry.
Can I tell you about this shirt? Can I just for a minute?
If you would, please.
Please do.
So I don't know if I wore the other one last week. I have a white one with like sort of subtle brown flowers and a little bit of red in it. I put that thing on when Mary and I were in Maui, and I looked at it. I went, "It is." And when Heather saw me in this shirt, she said, "I love that shirt because it's not a traditional Hawaiian shirt, which makes you look, kind of like an
Kinda
idiot."
silly,
You-
yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
it's subtle. This thing is subtle. I put it on. It's hard for me to find a fit because I am not tall, and it fit perfectly. I went, it's subtle, and it fit. I bought 3 of these bad boys. Riptide is the name of the company, by the way. And
like it.
unfortunately, I don't
They're
get paid for saying that. I wish I did. I haven't
Bob, you
figured
don't
out how
get
to
paid for
do
saying
that.
anything at this point.
No.
Right.
So
We
what's
work
it?
in radio. We pay to have the capacity to air the show
Right, exactly.
over the air. Now,
Jonah
let me
Knight.
say that color blue is particularly good
Yes.
for you.
Really?
It is. Yeah.
Mhm,
I don't know if you've had anybody do your colors, but that looks good
mhm.
for you.
I posted a Throwback
Have
Thursday.
anybody do my colors? I know I'm bougie.
I think
Mary is the lady who's going to do my colors here yet today? No.
I think
Well,
you're a winter. I really like you in jewel tones.
yeah. You have to have your colors done so you know what to buy and what to wear.
Yeah, I
Sherry
think you're
bought me a shirt once
winter.
that was in a light chocolate brown, like an espresso brown, long sleeve shirt. And I put that bad boy on, and I don't think I've ever had a shirt that worked better for me
That one was
than
really
that.
good for you too.
Yeah, and that's not a jewel color. I mean, that brown is brown.
You look good in warm. I mean, you look good in red, your favorite color.
Yeah.
I don't love you in pastels, whereas
No.
Lamar is really good in pastels.
Well, look at him tonight.
Yeah, I like you in really vibrant, whether
Yeah.
it's an earth tone or a bright color. I like you in a vibrant color. I don't like you in like tan. Like if you had on a tan t-shirt right now, no.
Lamar, I can't wait till we do our own happy hour together. We can talk about clothes.
Yes. Yes. Maybe we could do it from like a nail place in a strip mall.
Oh, shut up. Like you don't go to those all the time, Lamar Richardson.
Yeah.
Don't you even?
Exactly. Can you, as women, can you two tell me why is it, and it's for women as much as men, although women suffer with it more than I think men do because we don't care as much. Why is it you're going to buy an outfit that could cost, say it's a shirt, $60, say it's pants, $100, say it's a dress for a woman, it could be as much as $300, and you try it on in that dressing room, and the overhead lighting makes everybody look like a freaking monster.
Yeah, I don't try clothes on in stores anymore.
Why haven't department stores figured out, or just specialty stores figured out that we've got to light these things so that these people look at themselves
looks as
and they
good
say,
as
"I
they
look good
can
in that."
possibly look. Yeah,
I
true.
don't try stuff on in stores. I bring it home. I put it on. I set up my iPhone. I roll video. I walk around. I twirl, and then I send the video to my daughters because they will be brutal. They will be brutal. Yeah. And if it gets a thumbs up, I keep it. If it doesn't, I return it. But let me jump over to Karen Williams Cookson's comment, Bob. She said, I think he's more of an autumn, deep colors, reds, orange, royal blues. I had my colors done years ago, and he's definitely an autumn. Look at you, B.O.B.
Okay, there you go. Orange, I find Frank Sinatra said it's the happiest color, and that was his color, and he had a lot of sweaters that were orange and blah, blah, blah. I think orange is a really hard color to do anything with. Every time I wear an orange, I have an orange sweater, somebody says, "When'd you go to Clemson?" I mean, it's just, it's a
I have
color.
a lot of orange Clemson stuff because my kids went to Clemson, so I have a lot of that. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot that. That's right.
But you know what I did? I switched. Now all my Clemson stuff, I go purple. I go purple or I go white with a purple trim. I stay away from the orange because their colors are white and purple.
And purple. That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah.
I can't wear orange. I had one orange jacket, and this happened to me a million years ago. I think Olivia was like maybe 9 months old. And I went into a store, and I'm at the cash register paying for my groceries or whatever. And the lady who worked at the store said to me, can I give you a piece of advice? You can't wear that color. It makes you look yellow, and it's not Halloween. And I was like, okay.
Good. That is a very unusual salesperson, and good for her.
Yeah.
So I just was like, well, I guess I can't wear this anymore. But
Brian Foote just said, "Hello, everybody. It's starting to cool off in Yuma, Arizona, where we've all been. It's going to be 105 this weekend."
Oh, okay. That's not sweater weather, but I mean, yeah, okay.
Oh, I love what Darren said. He said, I tried on a light green shirt once. My wife said it reminded her of an Oompa Loompa. Well, that's a no.
I'll tell you what, after a few years, there's nobody like a wife to give you the straight scoop.
I used to have a guy. I had a guy. He had a men's store, and he was the guy that you could trust. And he was never wrong. And when I had to buy clothes for anything, I would go in there and I would say, hey, you know what's in my closet because I bought everything from you. Set me up. He would always do it. I got so spoiled of that. and sadly, he died. And they closed the shop and everything. But man, it was so nice to have somebody
A
like that.
haberdasher. He was
I
a
mean,
haberdasher,
yeah, he was
which is a word that
unbelievable.
nobody uses anymore,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
that's what he was.
yeah. He was absolutely perfect.
There are people who, and I'm not talking about like, celebrities or whatever. There are regular people who pay a stylist like once to like be brutally honest with them
Yeah,
and tell them you can't, this is the cut jacket you should wear, and these are the
right.
kind of jeans you should wear, and these are your colors. There are people that do that. I've never done that. I've never had an adult business wardrobe any more than you have. I've just
No,
haven't.
we haven't. But Sherry and I, for a photo shoot, and it was a big deal photo shoot because they blew us up poster size.
It
I
was for
can't
a
remember.
magazine. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I get. Yeah, right. It was from some magazine, and the guy came in and put me in. I think I had 6 layers, uh, and they were all beautiful. You know, the
You
beautiful
look
jacket.
good though.
I did look good in it, and a sweater with the collar up, and something else. And Sherry had a beautiful dress on.
Magashoni, an Italian silk dress. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah,
And Yves Saint Laurent shoes. Like I
right.
have never in my life paid that much for a pair of shoes, and didn't that day because I was just
Right.
wearing them for the shoot. Oh my gosh,
It,
it was
it
amazing.
it was the best we ever looked, and we blew it up and in poster size, and we had it framed and put it at the old station, right in front of the studio, so people could walk by and spit at it. And
What became of that?
I think I have it somewhere.
You do. Okay, good.
I think I do. You know that guy who dressed us? I read an article about him. I'm sorry, sir, I don't remember your name. So he will take not just clowns like us, but he'll take women who are high-powered business women, or men who are business executives, or people who are married to these sort of people, and they're in front of a lot of successful people at banquets and so on, and dress them and show them the right ties to wear and so on
Yeah.
and so forth. There is an art to it. And you know what? One of his side um, jobs is, in addition to doing that, he will teach you about body language, including how to walk.
Really?
Yeah.
Hard to
Now, I
change
know
your
that sounds like bullshit, but think about this. You're a brilliant person, but you know, you've had your head in the books and all this and that, and you're slumped over and you don't think about it and this and that. I'm just going to use it as a guy. It's a guy that just comes in and he looks like a hangdog daddy all the time. He teaches you, put your head up, your shoulders back, and walk in with and I don't know exactly what he says, but his job is to teach you to have a certain amount of authority and or grace when you enter
Yeah.
the room.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can learn how to walk in heels, and models can learn how to do the runway walk, which I think is hilarious. I can do the runway walk. I
Yeah.
used to like make my girls. They would be on the floor, unable to breathe, laughing. We would have like a fashion show, and I would narrate. I do this for Ada now and Ella. I would narrate. Olivia today is wearing a very, very forward Old Navy romper. That kind of a thing, right? And then we would all do the model walk through the living room. You can learn how to do certain things like that, but I think changing your natural walk must be very, very hard, don't you?
Yeah, I think it is. I've tried to a little bit because I think I talked about this on the air. I was walking through downtown Charlotte, and I looked over in a glass building and I saw myself walking, and I went, "Oh my God, that's my father." And I didn't like it. So I have adopted a more, you know, upright sort of pace. Somebody just, Paul Brown just said, "What is a hangdog daddy?" Do you know what that is, Lamar?
No.
A hangdog daddy? That's the guy who's standing in line at Hardee's like this.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought it was, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
He's beaten down. He is
Yeah.
beaten down.
Tired.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, Bob, and Sheri, you can answer this too. Do you walk different depending upon what you put on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you walk different. When I put on those grown-up shoes, those really grown-up shoes that I keep in the closet wrapped up, and I've got a pair of slacks on that fall right across those shoes just like it's supposed to, and the knot on the tie is
Just right.
exactly right.
Right.
And I'm going somewhere that's going to be, you walk completely different.
Yeah. You walk with more authority, I think.
You walk in and you own the room.
I think women do that with dresses. Am I not right, Sheri?
Yeah. Well, your shoes too. Your shoes.
The shoes are so important.
Like I walk one way and like in what I'm wearing tonight, which is just a t-shirt and jeans. And then I walk a different way if I'm in a dress and heels. And then I run like a mofo if I'm in a t-shirt without a bra, because if I don't, I'm going to get captured. So it's all just, Lamar is so right. It's all just super dependent.
Yeah, it really depends. It depends.
So you walk like your dad. You have Big Bob's Panther-like stroll.
No, he didn't have that. He had it was actually a bit arrogant. Can you believe that?
I can't. I'm stunned.
It was just sort of like, I don't know. And I adopted it. And I know that I adopted it because my friend Paul Mezzarandino had not seen me in 20 years. And we met in downtown New Haven to go to Pepe's Pizza. And he said, you know, I haven't seen you in 20 years, but 5 blocks away, I knew who you were. Because of that.
Can I tell you, I do not walk like my mom, but I talk like my mom. And the realization blows my mind because my mom and I were separated for a very long time.
13 years, right?
16.
16 years.
And they were my formative years.
Right.
You know, I was 12. So like, how do I talk like my mom? Now we have different slang, obviously, and different subject matters that we talk about. But I'll be sitting talking with my mom and I'll realize, oh my God, this is how I sound to my daughters. And I think it must be genetic. Like there just has to be some genetics involved in that.
I don't know if there are genetics, though. Even though you were separated all those years, you were with her in very formative years, in very close quarters, and that has to be the imprint. Because I can remember once in a while I would go like, see what I'm doing with my eyebrow here?
Yeah.
I do that. And all of a sudden, I don't do that anymore. I went, oh my God, that's my mother. That's my mother doing that. A little nervous habit, you know? I just think we have just such an imprint on our children. And we have to be aware of that.
I look like my dad's side of the family, although as time goes on, not only do I look more like my mom, but I see a lot of my mom in my daughter Olivia. But I don't have any of my dad's that I'm aware of, any of his mannerisms or inflections. I think partly because I'm not whacked on crack.
I was going to say, I've never seen you go, yes, officer, my hands are in the air.
What the fuck are you looking at? Lamar, do you see that in yourself with your mom and dad?
You know, I don't think so. I mean, I really don't. And my mom would have been the biggest influence on me. My dad, like I say, when he was not drinking, when he was sober, he was still not very effusive with conversation and whatever. I mean, we did stuff and he came to my stuff or whatever, but he did not have the impact on me that my mom did.
If he wasn't talking a lot, he had no impact on you.
Well, I just want to jump in and say that if you listen to the Talking Lamar podcast, which drops every Friday in the Oddcast feed, Lamar's mother is the hero you didn't know you needed. That woman is something. I can totally see. Not only did you imprint on her, she was such a huge force in your life, and not just as your mom. Like she was your guidance, your role
She
model.
was. She was.
She
And
really was.
she influenced me. I am so partial to women. I love to talk to women. I love to have women friends. I find women to be interesting, and it's all because I spent so much time with my mom, and because she was a kick-ass, strong woman. It's the reason I'm married to Carla today, because Carla is a kick-ass strong. I am not attracted to a meek and mild woman. I'm not. I'm just not, because my mom was so, she was a kick-ass. I mean, that's what she was.
I thought I had a pretty good idea of Lamar's family, his mom, his dad, his brother Troy, who was such a lovely human being. And he looked like Lamar, only like a more bearded, rugged kind of version of Lamar, right?
Yeah.
I thought I had a sense of Lamar's family. And then Lamar started doing Talking Lamar. And I was like, wait, I need a t-shirt with your mom's face on it. This woman was such a queen. Like, not only was she like, she was a great mother in the, the cooking and the homemaking and all of that. This woman worked a job outside of that, worked her
Yeah.
ass off,
Oh yeah.
and had two boys who were a total handful. And Lamar, no matter what he did, his mama arrived on the scene just in time to jerk a knot in his head. She is amazing, Lamar.
You know, let me jump in here for a second. It's so interesting to say, and I'm so glad to hear you say, Lamar, that you relate to women maybe even more so than to men, because I do
Oh, yeah.
too. Now,
Yeah.
I've all my life I've had great guy friends, and I do to this day. I mean, I could call probably a half a dozen guys tonight and just have a conversation with them. So I have had a lot of guy friends, but I think I've related better to women. Well, I mean, look what I do for a living, for God's sakes, with this one. I think I related better to women than most men do. I see some things out there sometimes, and it's like there's a veil of, I don't want to say hate, but there's a veil of dislike
Contempt.
and dismissiveness.
Contempt.
Yeah,
It's contempt.
contempt, that is so disgusting. And I think to myself, why do you? They're so great. You know, they do so much. What
Well,
somebody just posted, the reason that you do this is because you imprinted on the woman who carried you in her womb.
yeah.
And so there's a power to that that we may not understand, but there very well may be a power to that. And I've thought about this many, many times, particularly because of the type of show that we do, where we don't exclude women. Most morning radio shows are very, very, very male oriented. And I don't
And
know why, but um, I don't know if it was my nature that somehow I saw a movie and I thought they look nice. I'd like to be nice with them. Or if it was I was brought up in the first wave of the feminist movement and I dated a woman who was very much into that.
Oh yeah,
Um,
that was where you imprinted. Yeah,
I think it may
I
have
know
been.
her. That
Yeah,
was where you
yeah,
imprinted.
yeah.
I would like yours and Lamar's and everyone's thought on this. I shared this in my Instagram story today. It just killed me. This is a dude who posted. Um, he's taking applications for a girlfriend. Are you ready? Here's what you have to be: female, age 16 to 23, Japanese. Exceptions will be made for white girls if they're small and skinny. You have to be willing to do as I ask. Have an IQ lower than mine. His is 113. Chief, I would not have admitted if my IQ was only 113.
Yeah,
Kept that a secret.
right.
She has to have zero male friends. She has to cook 3 meals for him a day. She has to also be willing to split the bill on a date. She has to be into kinky stuff, and he'll be discussing that with you in a private message. She has to send him nudes every day. He doesn't see her in person. She has to have sex with him as he asks. And she has to be on birth control because condoms make him feel trapped. He can't find anything that fits. LOL, they don't make them that small, Jimmy.
No, they don't. And
finally,
good luck.
ideally, she won't have a job.
He's
What
a
an
jerk.
asshole.
My wife just made dinner for us and the Colonel. And is this a new dress?
Mhm.
I love it.
That's
Show
why
me.
there's a tag.
Is
Oh,
that
I love
great?
it.
Not me, Pearl.
I love.
I just
love
got
it.
it in the mail. I'm trying it on. Anyway, your dinner's in here.
Thank you.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hey,
What's the occasion, Bob?
My life is hell. It really is.
see, my thing is, and I think because I spent so much time, like I say, talking to my mom, if I'm at a cocktail party, I sort of gravitate towards the women because I want to hear what they're talking about because it's interesting to me. I mean, it really is.
Well,
'Cause
they're
I
more
know what the guys
verbal.
are talking about. I know what they're talking about, sports and bullshit like that.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to hear some other stuff. You know, I just think, you know, and it's funny because I'm married to a strong woman, but she's also a guy's girl. I mean, you know, she's
Yeah.
very, she's very guy friendly, but I don't know.
I know what you mean about you're being attracted to a woman who is not a wallflower. I mean, for me, obviously, this one who was just here, she's kooky, she's brilliant, and she treats me great. I mean, I have to have a little bit of an edge and a little bit of kookiness and or a really good sense of humor, or I get bored.
Yeah. Yeah. The one thing I'm never, when Carla and I go anywhere, whatever we do, the one thing I'm not is bored. I'm never bored.
Right.
I'm never bored.
Right. That's important.
Yeah.
Kevin's
it is.
never bored, but I think he'd like to be some days.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that.
Yeah.
I
Because
get that.
Lamar, you see what I do to y'all.
Oh, yeah.
At the end of the workday, Kev will be like, "You want to go for a walk?" And I'm like, "Yes." And then we'll be walking along, and I'll wait till we're too far for him to break into a run to go home. And I'll say, "Well, who wants to hear the latest theory on Diddy?" And he's like, "Oh my God, I'm trapped with you." Or UFOs or whatever, one of my many gazillion things that I'm interested in. So yeah, I think he'd like to be bored sometimes.
I know more about UFOs and the space program than I ever thought possible.
Regina's
learned it
going
all.
to Kennedy this weekend. She's going to Kennedy Space Center.
Really?
Heather, tell them how amazing it is.
It was so phenomenal. It's by far the best trip I've ever been on, I think.
I would love to go there.
I saw the Space Shuttle Atlantis and just stood there and cried with tears rolling down my face. The Saturn V rocket, oh my God, it was so exciting.
And they
But
make
yes.
a cinematic experience. Like they really do. The way they reveal the rocket is so cool.
It's so good. The tour is amazing. And you see the building, you know, the where they build the rockets and the launch pad and all of that. Just today, because I'm working on an episode of my True Weird Stuff podcast about the multiverse and the Mandela effect. So Bob was like, "Hang on, I got to take care of Finn." And so I was like to Max and Lamar, "Who wants to hear a little something fun about the Mandela effect?" And Lamar is like, "Ah, because he can't escape it."
Yeah, I would love to go to Kennedy's. Now, listen, let's don't gloss over the fact that the rocket or this capsule that could not bring the people back comes back on its own and lands where it's supposed to land. What?
It's unbelievable.
What? Come on. I mean,
Yeah.
really? That's crazy.
And
I
still,
haven't-
I have to talk to 5 different people to cancel my insurance on a car I just sold. I don't know how we all interact with each other.
No, that's true.
Well, I was going to say I have an episode coming up about a handful of astronauts, and they all have something in common. I'm not going to tell you what it is. You'll hear it in the episode. But one of the amazing things about the early space program, and I'm talking Gemini, Mercury, Apollo,
Yeah. Okay.
is any one of those, and some did end in tragedy, as we know. Any one of those could have been a disaster, except the people that were chosen to be astronauts. And a million people want to be an astronaut, and then like 6 get chosen in any given cycle, right?
Yeah.
The people that they choose to be astronauts, they are not like the rest of us. They're up there in space looking at the freaking Earth and the moon in something the size of like a small compact car. That's the crew area. And they're being told, well, we've had a critical malfunction. And let's see if we can figure it out. And they figure, more times than not, they figure it out. So the terrible things that have happened are in the minority of the terrible things that could have and should have happened.
Should have happened.
Except these astronauts are just amazing human beings.
Kimberly Fluke said, have any of you seen Fly Me to the Moon? Nice story. I have. Yeah, and it was.
Yeah.
I mean, think about the fact, the re-entry thing, the angle. If you don't hit it at the right angle, you bounce, and that's it. You're gone.
There are a lot of things like that.
I mean, it's just it's crazy.
And very few men have the right stuff.
I am the greatest straight man in the history
really are.
of broadcasting.
You're the straightest of great straight men.
Absolutely.
One of
Because
the
I set that up. I set that up, and I knew where the joke was coming from.
You did. But what's the point of being a great pitcher if somebody doesn't come to the plate and hit your pitch? You're welcome.
But like we always say, Bob,
Pitcher does not want.
We're such a good team. We're such a good team.
If you see it coming and it's still funny, that's a win.
Then it's okay. Yeah.
I will in this episode of True Word Stuff, and it's in about 3 weeks. I will tell you the story of one of the early astronauts who was forced to use his knowledge of the stars to manually calculate the math to find the re-entry window that would keep him from burning to a crisp as he returned to Earth. And then he had to do it all manually. All the automatic systems were down. First he had to do the freaking math just based on he's looking out the window of that tiny ship going, all right, that's Cassiopeia. Okay, so he had to do all that math manually, find the launch or the re-entry window. Then he had to deploy the drag chutes that slow it down and the landing pad. And he managed to get within 4 miles of the ship that was supposed to pick him up. And
that's amazing. I'm just looking at the comments. People saying, "Good one, Bob."
Are amazeballs.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see. This is that guy that still studied math, and he never said, "I'll never use this," because he did.
He did.
He actually used it.
He did use it. I mean, it's just incredible how there are like 8 billion of us or whatever on Earth, but a tiny spoonful of that 8 billion have the right stuff to go to space. Did any of you guys watch the SpaceX spacewalk?
Yes.
That was carried live?
Yeah.
Yes.
It was really, so I read one of the people, this was just last week, and they carried it live, and they didn't really do a spacewalk. They exited most of the way out of the spacecraft, and there was the Earth, and that's got to be really trippy. So they interviewed one of the billionaires that went up on this, and he said that it was not peaceful. It was incredibly stressful and frightening and loud and dangerous, because at no time did they open the door and go, all right, go take a look at the Earth. It is so fraught, and he was so stressed out.
Well, why is it loud?
Well, because you're in your suit, right?
Oh, okay.
So you've got all the comms inside your suit.
Yeah.
Okay. Hear your own breathing and stuff. Yeah. So my bonus son Zane and I watched that 2 separate locations live that morning, because it was really early. It was like before the show started and then into the show. And it was scary. Like the camera angle. Didn't you think, Heather, the camera angle was scary?
It was very spooky.
It was
very
spooky. And
the idea that you are out of a capsule, those astronauts floating in space, attached by one cord.
Aren't you still in orbit? Or you just,
I get freaked out when I can't find Mary at Target after 5 minutes. There is no way that I would have that sort of composure to be able to do that. It's
Well, you guys
beyond.
look at Michael Collins, and if that name doesn't ring a bell, I'm not surprised. He's the forgotten Apollo astronaut. While Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin were on the moon, Michael Collins was flying the ship that would bring them safely home to Earth.
Yeah.
And he was making orbit after orbit all by himself around the moon. And he would be out of radio contact with ground control, NASA ground control, for most of every hour, because when they go to the moon's far side, they lose radio contact, or they did anyway back during the Apollo mission. He was all alone in space. And then he was the one that when Aldrin and Armstrong came up, he had to rendezvous with their spaceship, grab it, and safely pull them in, and then navigate back to Earth. So please tell me more, podcast bro, about how you're the smartest guy in the room. Like, these people are actually amazing.
They
and
are.
Michael Collins is amazing.
They are. And now, another thing. Somebody would like to know how Heather is able to change her hair color so easily. Heather?
Well, right now it's faded. That's why it looks like a different color. I actually haven't been able to dye it in over a month because I'm giving it time.
I think it looks great, that color.
Thank you.
It's kind of magenta, isn't it?
It's magenta with these like purple ends.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm able to change it so often is because I do this periodically where I let it rest. And I'm not
Very
constantly throwing bleach.
Yeah, we get a lot of questions about your hair. So
It is really long right now, and I love it.
It is.
Yeah, I like that length on you.
Yeah, it's a lot in the summer, but fall is here. Spooky girl time.
Fall is here. Fall is here.
Boy, it
It
feels
was
great.
a
It
little
feels
bit
great.
cooler where I live. Now, with my friend Jeff in Palm Springs, still 110 degrees. And it's still kind of humid where I live. I mean, it's global warming, but isn't it a relief when fall approaches? I mean, it really is the greatest. I think it's the greatest season now.
Well, my mom had to turn the heat on because it's only 86 in St. George.
No.
It was 115 when I was there.
My God, the woman is just suffering.
She's shivering. Yeah. I was going to read one of these comments. Where did it go? I think it jumped. Billy Prevet. There's a point at which there's no atmosphere to transmit sound waves, a silent portion, if you will. So yeah, true. But did you know that space has a smell, according to the astronauts?
Really?
You want to guess what space smells like?
Fear.
How does it smell? I mean, they're enclosed.
It smells like steak that's cooking.
Really?
That's what the astronauts say, right, Heather?
Yeah.
That space has a smell. Yeah.
But you're not in. You've got everything on. You're in the suit. How do you smell it?
I think these are the astronauts on the International Space Station.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are they opening the window?
Well, they're who knows, right? But yeah, apparently it has a smell.
Get a little fresh air in here.
Yeah, let's get some. Yeah.
Get some natural.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah.
That's one of those things. That's one of those comments that I don't forget about my father. Every once in a while, he would go over to the window. Let's say it's fall. And he would say, "Oh, open this window, get some natural in here." I don't know why I remember that.
I've never
really
heard
don't.
anyone put it that way.
I haven't either. And this is a man who's smoking 2 packs of Kent cigarettes a day. Thank you, Dad.
Hey, it's too bad you never let the natural come into the car when you were in the back seat.
I know. I was almost on a respirator. Thank you for the natural. It's just funny how you remember like certain expressions that your parents used, right?
Well, depending on, like, I don't really remember my parents so much because my dad was strung out and my mom was gone by the time I was 12. But I remember my grandmothers and all the old ladies, all the stuff they would say. And every once in a while, one of those will come out of my mouth. And I'm like, and my kids and Caramia will just look at me and fall out. Oh my God. Like, here's a classic example. Well, excuse me, do I look like a washerwoman? Hello, it's 2024. What the hell's a washerwoman, right?
What is a washerwoman?
I don't know. I guess it was somebody that used to take in your laundry. It's so before my time. Yeah.
I'm betting they're thinking about, so a lot of Catholic schools, a lot of Catholic girls' schools, they had a laundry, and that's how they made money, was they would take clothes into the laundry. So I bet that's what they were talking about.
Do I look like a washerwoman to you? My girls are like, whoa.
You would say that to them?
Oh, I have said, I'll catch such crazy old-timey stuff coming out of my mouth because those were the references that I heard around the house growing up.
Billy Prevette said it was the lady that took in laundry. So there might have been somebody in the neighborhood, like,
you drop it off and they would wash it
and
iron it and fold it, and then you'd pick it up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a job of value. That is not a job that should look.
Well, except when I was the washerwoman for this family, nobody was paying me. It was unpaid labor.
Yeah, there's no value there.
I can't even tell you where.
Oh, Billy Prevette said the washerwomen followed the army during wars. I never heard of that.
Oh,
I saw something about that in the National Cowboy Museum in Oklahoma City.
Really?
Yeah, that there were women. They would follow their husbands. That they didn't want to be separated from their husbands, so they would go to war. And
Karen Cookson said, "My mom used to say, I can't have anything nice around here with you kids."
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That was one of ours.
Yeah, we can't have anything
one of
nice.
ours.
We can never have anything nice because of you. Yeah.
That was said. My brother and I used to crack up over this, and I said, "Do you remember when he said we can't have anything nice with you kids?" He said, "Yeah, we had the shittiest furniture around to begin with." I mean, what are you talking about?
Sometimes, like, I'll be cooking dinner, and I'll hear my grandmother in my head. And I'll be like, oh, crap, I should have gone to the store. I'm out of whatever the ingredient. And my grandmother would say, they have taste for shit. They don't know. Just throw something else in there.
My mom would always, when we're at a restaurant and the meal was getting close to being over with, she'd look at me and look at my plate, and she'd always say, eat your meat. That's what we're paying for. Eat your meat. Eat the meat. That's what we're paying for.
The dismissiveness
in your head,
of your grandmother. I love her. I love her. But
I had kids. Forget that French fries. Eat the meat. That's what we're paying for. That's right.
Let me tell you how true that is for Lamar. Where were we, Lamar? We were all in the car together, and we were driving. Was it in Boston? And there was one of those Brazilian steakhouses where they bring you the meat on the sword. And Bob said, oh, that's such and such a place. And Lamar says, let me tell you what, if you're going to go there, you have to be serious. Eat your meat. That's what you're paying for. We don't want no salads. We don't want no sides. We don't want no bread.
Get that sword over here. I want some more of that lamb.
Yeah, don't let them fool you. Don't let them fool you with that bread they put down. Put that to the side. No, meat, baby. That's what you're there for.
Right. How about that salad bar? You going to that salad bar at one of those places? I don't think so.
No.
Your grandmother dismissing people with, don't worry about the ingredient. Their taste is for shit or whatever. I just love that so much.
Oh, especially if it was like mitigans and not family.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, like she would never take a shortcut for someone that would know what they were eating. But if my grandmother thought you were not a person with enough sense or taste, They share. They shit. They don't know.
But you know what? She was right.
She was right. She was so right. She was so right. They don't
She was
know.
so right.
She was making her version of bolognese sauce, and she didn't have fresh garlic, and she was upset about it because that meant she would have to use garlic powder.
Ooh.
And she said, Jesus, Mary and Joseph, what mitigam would take a perfectly good piece of garlic and turn it into dust?
You know, invoking the Lord's name and his mother
And father.
and father.
And earthly father.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and earthly father. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But,
It
you know,
has
that's
a
how
heck.
strongly she felt about it. What
Yeah.
are you
That's
doing
right.
with
It
that
has
piece
a
of
heck.
garlic? Yeah, that she
Right.
would make it into dust. An Olive Garden commercial would come on TV, and my grandmother, it's like she thought the TV it was a two-way thing. My grandmother would be like, "Ow, ow, God, I'm gonna vomit. It's slop."
I wish I could take her out to dinner. Honest to God. I totally agree with her. There is something about if you've had really good pasta with a nice marinara sauce or clam sauce or whatever it is, and the pasta's al dente, and
Just
you
right.
know, there's something about it that is just absolutely heavenly. You know, it's sublime. And when you get some stuff that is so overcooked, and I'm not trying to be a snob, there's a certain point where you got to stop cooking the pasta because it's just going to turn to mush. When you get that, Sinatra shouldn't have done it, but one day somebody served him that somewhere, and he stood up and threw it against the wall.
Listen, he's not wrong. My first husband, I made the mistake of bringing him to my grandmother's house. And so she cooked, you know, like a big proper Sunday dinner.
Right.
And she said to him, honey, do you like Italian food? And he goes, I really like beefaroni.
No.
Was he kidding?
No, he really did like beefaroni. Like that. I mean, to him, that was Italian. It was Italian. To him, that was Italian food. And right in front of him, my grandmother turned to me and said, he has taste for shit, honey. You cannot stay with this man.
They call it beefaroni. It's made with macaroni.
Macaroni.
Beefaroni's fun to eat.
You know what?
Beefaroni's got
That's
some
right, he
meat.
did have taste for
Beefaroni's
shit.
such
She was
a treat.
absolutely correct.
Hooray for beefaroni.
I called one night. I called one night. We were in a hurry and we were wanting to grab something. So I called Olive Garden to get something, and the lady answered the phone and she said, "What do you want?" And I said, I forget what Carla wanted, and I said, "Give me a spaghetti bolognese." And she goes, "We don't have any bolognese." I said, "What?" She goes, We don't have any bolognese." Hell, I just hung up. I mean, if you're an Italian restaurant,
You don't got no
Kind of the
meat sauce.
basic. Yeah.
You
That's
don't
kind
got
of
no
the
meat
basic.
sauce. You know why, Lamar? Because their taste is for shit. That's why.
Right. Okay.
Now,
And on that note, we
Before
want to
we jump off, Lamar,
yeah.
what movie are you reviewing on the show tomorrow?
A Killer's Game with Dave Bautista.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
And I think you kind of liked it because you're not making
I
a face.
kind of liked it.
Kinda
Yes,
liked it.
I love him. He's good. He's
All right.
good.
Well, we don't want to take up any more of y'all's time. We're
No, true. It's true.
we're so happy that y'all joined us for this and for every happy hour. So cheers. Everybody have a great
Cheers.
night and a really good weekend, and be careful
you.
out there. Try not to have taste for shit because, you know.
don't overcook the pasta. Don't
No.
do it.
No.
Cheers.
Cheers.